Merry Christmas. As 2023 comes to a close next week, it's a good chance to look back at the top 10 sports stories of the year. It was hard to narrow things down to a top 10, so we have some honorable mentions. The Jefferson City Renegades' first Mink League championship last summer. Mizzou volleyball's turnaround, making the NCAA Tournament. A good year at state cross country for many area teams. And Lincoln University adding baseball and soccer and also announcing a change in conferences. But we begin our countdown with number 10. State wrestling at Mizzou Arena in February. The Centralia Panthers from Boone County made school history. After 3 straight second-place finishes at the state meet, the Panthers broke through with the school's first ever state wrestling title. Winning the Class 1 championship, the Panthers had 3 individual state champs, Braden Dubas, Braden Shelton, and Seth Hasekamp. Mid-Missouri wrestlers also made history with 3 local female wrestlers winning gold medals. Southern Boone's Callie Berthold finished 42-2 as a state champion. Jefferson City's Alexis Dunwoody ended up 53-3 as an individual state champ. And Moberly's Brianne Gibbs finishing a perfect 47-0 state championship season. Story number 9. Jefferson City High School's resurgence in sports. JC won 4 conference championships, made it to 3 state Final Fours in 2023. The Jays wrestling team completed an undefeated Central Missouri Activities Conference season. Then the Lady Jays basketball team also finished as CMAC champions. And Josh Buffington's Jays made it a winter CMAC sweep for Jeff City. The basketball Jays didn't stop there. They marched on to the state Final Four in March with a thrilling overtime win in the state quarterfinals, ending with a 3rd place trophy in Springfield. The best JC basketball finish in 30 years. The Jefferson City volleyball team also made school history, winning the CMAC title and advancing to the state Final Four in Cape Girardeau. The first trip to state since 2000. JC ended up 3rd place in Class 4, matching the school's best ever volleyball finish from 1993. And the Jefferson City Jays football team won a first district championship since 2009. The Jays made it to the Class 4 state semifinals after 2 nail-biting 3-point postseason wins. Story number 8. High school track and field championships at Adkins Stadium in Jefferson City featured a three-peat for the Rockbridge Bruins. Another amazing run for the Columbia school, claiming a Class 5 state title. The Rockbridge boys team won 4 events, including 2 relays and 2 distance races. Andrew Hauser in the 1600. Ian Kemme won the 3200. The Rockbridge girls also brought home hardware with a 4th place finish at state track. The Camdenton Lakers ended up 3rd in Class 5. The Capital City Cavaliers finished 4th, making school history by winning the school's first ever team trophy in any sport. The Eldon Lady Mustangs track and field team finished with a 2nd straight 2nd place finish at the Class 3 state meet. Thanks to a remarkable performance by Zoe Martinfee, the Eldon Junior won 3 events, the 800, the 1600, and the 300-meter hurdles, and finished 3rd in the triple jump. Centralia finished 3rd place in the girls' Class 3 competition. Father Tolton was 2nd in Class 2, missing a state championship by just 3 points. Story number 7, a three-peat for Blair Oaks volleyball. The Falcons made it back-to-back state championships in Cape Girardeau, this time under new head coach Danielle Lukenoff, who returned to her high school alma mater. A strong senior-dominated team finished the year 31-5-1, completing another undefeated Tri-County Conference season. Blair Oaks rallied from an 0-2 deficit in the state championship match, winning the final 3 sets to defeat Ursuline Academy in a thriller 3-2. Blair Oaks came close to winning another football state championship in the fall. The Falcons were ranked number 1 in Class 3 throughout the season, finishing 11-2. Their only losses coming to Lutheran North and Park Hill Central in 1-possession games. Blair Oaks ended 3rd in the final state poll. This year was also the final season for Missouri Sports Hall of Fame softball coach Sharon Bush-Jost, who announced her retirement after 28 seasons. Bush-Jost's team made 12 Final Four appearances, winning 2 state titles, 26 conference championships, and 20 district titles. An amazing run for Sharon Bush-Jost and the Blair Oaks softball Falcons. Story number 6 for 2023, another strong season for Mid-Missouri High School baseball at the state Final Four. 4 more local teams made the trip to Ozark, including the St. Elizabeth Hornets, who won a 2nd straight Class 1 title. It was a 5th straight trip to the state and a 3rd championship in that time, 5th for the school. This year they made it look easy, winning 9-0 in the semifinals, 13-3 in the title game. The South Callaway Bulldogs had an amazing postseason run, finishing runner-up in Class 3. South Callaway ended up losing a close 3-1 game for the championship. And the Fulton Hornets made a remarkable postseason run to the state Final Four. Fulton made it through the toughest baseball district in the state, knocking off 2 defending state championship teams, Father Tolton and Southern Boone, before a 1-0 win over Fatima in the district title game, winning 2 close state playoff games, then losing 2 at the Final Four, still finishing 4th in the state. And it was history for Community R6, a small Class 1 school from Ladonia, just outside of Mexico, Missouri. The Trojans made just the 2nd Final Four baseball trip ever, the 1st since 2001, finishing 4th in state. So we continue the countdown with story number 5. A banner year at Father Tolton High School in Columbia. The Trailblazers won 2 state championships, had 2 runner-up trophies, and 2 4th-place finishes. The Blazers began the year with a 2nd straight trip to the boys basketball Final Four, finishing with a 4th-place trophy. Then in the spring, a first-ever girls state soccer championship. Chuck Register's Tolton team won the Class 1 title, outscoring their opponents 25-0 in the postseason. Tolton girls track and field team also adding a 2nd place trophy at the state meet in Jefferson City. The Trailblazers' success carried over into the fall, where Tolton captured a 3rd straight girls cross country championship. They won the Class 3 title in 2021, moved up and won the Class 4 title in 2022, moved up again and won Class 5 this year. Father Tolton also set other school and state records. In the fall, Trailblazers softball standout Taylor Bedsworth hit her 49th home run, an all-time record in Missouri high school softball. Taylor also signed on to play at Mizzou. The Tolton football team also made news, winning their first 11 games of the season, a first-ever district championship, reaching the state quarterfinals. An amazing sports year for the Father Tolton Trailblazers. And story number 4. The strong showing for Mid-Missouri high school basketball teams at the Show Me Showdown in March. The Tipton Lady Cardinals made school history with their first ever basketball state title. Jason Culpepper's team finished 31-1, avenging their only regular season loss with a state title win over Bishop LeBlond, and it wasn't close the 2nd time around. Tipton won by 19 in the Class 2 championship game, 55-36, and that was the closest game in the last 8 weeks of an absolutely dominating season for Tipton. The Rockbridge Lady Bruins also made it to the state title game in Class 6, falling to the undefeated state champions from Incarnate Word. Rockbridge finishing with a 2nd place trophy at 24-8. The Southern Boone Lady Eagles made a great postseason run to the state Final Four. After a 3-5 start to the year, they ended up 4th in state. On the boys' side, the Salisbury Panthers won the Class 2 state championship, while the St. Elizabeth Hornets finished runner-up in Class 1. It was a 5th straight trip to the Final Four for St. E. The Hornets found ways to win close games through the postseason and came close to winning in the title game, losing to South Iron. The Jefferson City Jays finishing 3rd in Class 5, the first JC boys basketball Final Four in 19 years. The Father Tolton Trailblazers also finishing with a 4th place finish at state. Story number 3, another outstanding year for for Mid-Missouri softball, topped by a second straight state championship for Fatima High. The Lady Comets won the Class 3 title, finishing with school record 35 wins, 35-4, with 3 of their losses coming to Class 4 and Class 5 powers. Fatima won the Jeff City Lady Jays tournament, the Hickman Cupid Classic, outscoring their opponents 58-5 in 6 postseason games, ending with a 6th state softball championship in school history. The Helias Crusader softball team made it back to the state Final Four, finishing with a second straight second-place finish in Class 4. Helias played 5 close games through districts and state, winning the first 4 and falling to a 37-1 Washington team, 3-1 in the championship game. Osage County also sent the Lynn Wildcats to the softball Final Four. Lynn came up with a crazy 15-12 district championship win over New Bloomfield, then came back from a 6-0 deficit, winning a wild 7-6 extra inning game in the state quarters, punching a ticket to softball state for the first time in 18 years, 3rd time ever. A very young Lynn squad finished 23-8, 4th in state. And a first ever Final Four in any sport for the Jamestown Eagles. Jamestown finished 20-7, playing for the Class 1 state championship, losing to La Plata, but taking home a first ever state trophy, finishing 2nd in state. So we are on to story number 2, the return to the NCAA Tournament for the Missouri basketball Tigers, and a first win in the Big Dance in 13 years. Mizzou is picked to finish 11th in the SEC preseason poll, but Dennis Gates' first season at Mizzou was magical. The new head coach shattered all expectations, leading the Tigers to a 25-win season. The Tigers came up with an impressive 22-point bragging rights win over Illinois and victories over other ranked opponents, Kentucky, Arkansas, Iowa State, and Tennessee. The Tigers finished 4th in the SEC with an 11-7 conference record, earning a double bye in the SEC tournament for the first time. Mizzou won its first game against Tennessee, advancing to the first ever semifinal at the conference tourney in Nashville, falling to Alabama. The Tigers would make the NCAA tournament as a 7 seed, winning their first game over Utah State 76-65 in Sacramento. Mizzou's season would come to an end, falling to another Cinderella story, Princeton, 1 win shy of the Sweet 16. The Tigers ended at 25-10, the most wins since the 2011-2012 season. Kobe Brown was named to the All-SEC first team and eventually selected by the Los Angeles Clippers at the end of the first round of the NBA draft. The Mizzou Tigers' future certainly looks bright, with one of the nation's top recruiting classes already signed for next year. And finally, story number 1, no doubt about it. Mizzou football ranked in the top 10 in the nation after a 10-2 regular season and a chance to play in the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State this week. It was Mizzou's 6th 10-win season in school history, the first since 2014. This after starting the year with major questions about quarterback Brady Cook, head coach Eli Drinkwitz. Those questions were answered several times. The Tigers' season was highlighted by a thrilling home win over then 15th ranked Kansas State in mid-September. A last-second 61-yard Harrison Mevis field goal gave Mizzou the 30-27 victory as Tiger fans rushed the field. That was the start of a magical run for Mizzou football. 1 month later, a decisive SEC road win, 38-21 over then 23rd ranked Kentucky in Lexington. Mizzou got some revenge against 13th ranked Tennessee in Columbia with a blowout win, 36-7 over a team that had blown out the Tigers the previous 2 years. Mizzou finished the home season with a nail-biting win over Florida thanks to a late game-winning drive directed by quarterback Brady Cook and another Harrison Mevis game-winning field goal. The Tigers also won the Mayor's Cup game over South Carolina and the Battle Line rivalry win at Arkansas. The Tigers finishing 6-2 in SEC play behind only Georgia in the SEC East. Cody Schrader became an absolute fan favorite and a national story. The 2023 Burlsworth Award winner for the top Division I player who began as a walk-on. Schrader led the SEC in rushing, is 2nd in the nation in rushing yards, was a finalist for the Doak Walker Award given to the country's top running back, and was 8th in the voting for the Heisman Trophy. 5 Tigers earning first-team team All-SEC honors, while Eli Drinkwitz was named the SEC Coach of the Year. Drinkwitz was also a finalist for the Eddie Robinson National Coach of the Year. Mizzou football picked in the preseason to finish 6th out of 7 teams in the SEC East, ended the regular season ranked 9th in the nation in the AP and the final college football playoff rankings. The only thing that could add to this remarkable season would be a win over the Buckeyes at the Cotton Bowl on Friday. And we will follow the Tigers to Dallas later this week. 7 o'clock game, Missouri versus Ohio State. That is it for our countdown for the top 10 Mid-Missouri sports stories for 2023. It has been a privilege to cover our local teams, schools, and communities. A big thanks to our KRCG Sports Department. Brian Hudnell, Chris Rogers, Tony Mullen, Nick Fuchs, and many more on our KRCG team that help us out with our expanded football Friday nights, basketball Tuesdays, and Friday nights. We love what we do, and we're thankful for the opportunity to work for you and serve you, the viewer. We look forward to seeing what 2024 brings. That's the great thing about sports. Anything is possible. From our family to yours, may God bless you, and Merry Christmas.